látni, hogy a nyugati, a sokkal díszesebb, mint a keleti.
So as we see, the western region of Hungary is much more decorative than the eastern region.
Ez köszönhető annak, hogy a nyugati régió az kevésbé került török elnyomás alá.
So this is because the western regions had less Ottoman influence during the Ottoman occupation in Hungary, so their culture was able to persevere longer in that region. So one thing to know about abacus is if you were wealthy, you might have been from abacus. And you can see the wealth through the costumes. And then our final guest today is a tradition. Sorry, the one before the final guest, we have a costume from Nyáradmenti, which is a székely or secular costume on Emese. So this is the region in Transylvania again, past Kalotaszeg, past Mezőség, and to the south more, which is the settlers. They're infamous for their striped red costumes and the white apron and white top. You see a lot more bounce in the dancing, and the women will wear also headscarves, and they dance with a handkerchief, which is much as hands, and always with red beads. And they'll also wear boots, but Anisha is wearing a matching red shoe, which is, it's hot. But once again, the sleeves are typically bundled at the wrist, making for a large sleeve, and yes, and then maybe next I can say a couple more interesting things. Oh, and they have an interesting embroidery in the lace detail, which is the whole detailing, and in the underskirt, which is this is a specific type of lace embroidery for this region, but it varies throughout Hungary.
Székelyföldön a viseletből különböző színeket lehet megtalálni.
So you can find different colors in the secular region,
ami a hovatartozást jelentette.
which means the type of pattern, the type of colors, that's where you're from in that region.
Általában ezt a piros-fekete kombinációt lehet látni.
You can typically find the red-black combination,
de a tehetősebbek például lila-fekete kombinációt vettek.
but who was a little bit better at sewing and who could acquire these specific fabrics would sometimes even put purple and black, and purple red and black, and purple green and black even. So, but this is the most common for this region. And then our final guest, our surprise, is a huszár, or a Hungarian knight, or Hungarian knight from the Napoleon ages.
Hello everyone. How many of you know huszár? What's a huszár? 50-50, okay. Alright. I'm going to talk to you about my uniform today. And I'd like to mention to you that the huszár is a light cavalryman who was originated in the 14th century, actually 15th century, and slowly throughout the ages was regulated into regiments, and they became the very famous cavalry regiments all over Europe. So not just Hungary, but the French, English, Italians, Prussians, and eventually they even came to the United States. So in the 1700s, there was a Polish and Hungarian colonel who came over to help Washington, George Washington, to develop his cavalry. They were hussars. All right. The hussars originally in the 15th century was not a good word. It meant a raider, somebody who would make his own rules and fight for his own sustenance. Unless he got paid well and unless he was hired by somebody, he was a wild horseman. At that time, of course, they used horse bows and lances, but that's slowly developed. And the answer of the hussar was the answer to the Ottoman Turks who was attacking the Kingdom of Hungary in the southern parts. And they needed to have a light cavalry to fight their spahis and their artijans, who were light cavalry horsemen. So, what does a hussar uniform have? obviously boots, because we ride horses. A hussar without a horse is no good. So we need a horse, right? Alright. So with the horses, obviously the hussar had to be a very good horseman. And what he was a good swordsman, and he used a saber, which is right here. Right? And besides the saber, I already mentioned the archery, the bow and the arrows, and also the lances, but later they added the firearms. For the officers, it was pistols, and for the regulars, it was a carabine, a small, short rifle. And the hussar, sorry, I'm going to put my sword back. Alright. Has many colors of uniform. So obviously on the battlefield it was quite difficult to recognize which regiment who belongs to who. The Hungarians usually had white, green, black, brown, red, obviously. And I represent a hussar from the early 1800s, late 1700s, during the Napoleonic War. My charcoal, my hat is called the charcoal, is kind of different from the ones that you might have seen in pictures from the 1848 Revolution, War of Independence against the Habsburgs. And I consciously wanted to represent a Napoleonic War of noble insurgent. That's what I am, a noble insurgent who were formed into regiments from the various counties in Hungary, Vármegye, to form the regiments to fight against the Napoleonic enemies. And I didn't want to represent the Habsburg colors because obviously the Habsburg monarchy was not good for Hungary and they were not good kings for the Hungarians. The regiments always had to have not the Hungarian coat of arms, which you can see on my torso, my purse, right there, but they had to have the Habsburg two-headed eagle. All right. So also the color of my uniform is all red, which usually means a high-ranking officer.